Good evening and welcome to our second ever night live. We're here to give you lots of free merino and answer all your merino questions and show off all our beautiful new merino that we've just launched. So thank you for coming, thank you for joining us. We hope that we answer all your questions. And I've got my little helper here to model it for you. Not one, but two mystery boxes filled with beautiful merino to win. We'll draw these towards the end of the live, not right at the end, because you might be asleep by then. I might be asleep by then, which will be a problem. But you can go in the draw to win one of these for yourself and one for your friend. So how you're going to do that is you are going to tag in your friends who you think should be watching. They might be friends with kids, friends with who are pregnant, maybe it's somebody else in your family who you think should watch too. But every comment that you make with a friend's name in it that you tag, you both are in the draw. So you go for it now, start tagging. You can tell them that they got a chance to win merino, come and learn about merino, learn about the sleep store, listen to Louise blabbing on for a little while about merino. So, and that will get you in the draw. So I think between those two boxes, I'm thinking there's probably about, how much worth of merino in there do you think did you rashly pack into those boxes? About $500 worth. Tag your friends, let's go, as my kids would say. So first we're going to I've got the ball rolling with that. Let's talk about merino and why it is the wonder fibre and why we love it and how we came to be having merino at the sleep store. So first let's just talk about why it's so good. We've sold merino products at the sleep store for pretty much coming up for 14 years of the sleep store, and I think we probably started stocking merino at least 12 years ago. I think Mokapuna was our first brand, and we still love that brand, and we've just had our new Mokapuna come in recently, and we started selling merino because I sorted out for my own kids. I sorted out for sleep time, for during the day, for outside, for I just love it for using with kids, and it's really the peace of mind that you get from using merino with kids. That is why we have such a strong focus on merino at the sleep store. So the things you get from it, number one, it's fire resistant. Now that might not be kind of the first thing you think of with merino, but it is naturally fire retardant. And up until when the labelling requirements for sleepwear changed, about 3 years ago, merino was one of the only products that without fail qualified for the low fire danger label. That doesn't exist anymore, but it always used to have that. So it's almost impossible for you can't actually make this catch fire. So if your kids get sparks on them by the fire wearing merino pajamas, it'll just make a little hole and that's it. Not like polyester, not like cotton. So fire retardant gives you peace of mind. And that's why I love it for outdoors as well, for when you're camping and you're around the campfire or you're using a gas cooker or something, but that's just an aside. The next thing you get from merino, and one of the reasons it's so good to use with newborns, is that it is temperature regulating. So like I wear merino singlets all year round for bed. I just love the icebreaker tank tops. So in the summer, that's perfectly good with just some undies or shorty jammy pants. And then in the winter, it's still just fine. I might pull the duvet up a little bit more, but having the merino against your skin, it really helps you to be just the right temperature. And so when we get into looking at merino for newborns and right through up till, kids are almost a year old, they really have little ability to regulate their temperature. So everything you can do in terms of what you dress them in and what bedding you use, choosing merino will make that easier for you. It's also, merino is really light and really soft, and so for the equivalent amount of warmth out of cotton, you'd need a lot more of it. So it's really soft and stretchy, and for even quite a thin garment, it's going to be really nice and snuggly. It's also very, very breathable, so that's partly why it's good when it's, to use in warmer weather, and it's great for I do a lot of tramping, and I always use merino for my tramping because it's breathable and light and comfy to wear. But then also, if you're thinking at this time of the year, you might be thinking, oh, it's still quite warm, my kids will get too hot. But if they're in merino and they get sweaty, merino can absorb up to 1/3 of its weight in moisture. So any sweat just gets whipped away from your skin and absorbed by the moisture, assuming you're not like sweating buckets and buckets, in which case you would be dripping. But for kids who just might be a little bit clammy, or if you get a bit of a overflow of the nappy and it's kind of a bit damp, merino is the best thing to have against the skin. So I think, is that all of the benefits we were going to cover, Amelia and James?
Yes, we do have a question about what are the benefits of merino versus merino and a cotton blend, apart from price?
Yeah, they're not always, merino. Our merino is pretty reasonable price for how good the quality is. But the kind of main benefits of like the wool cotton blend that we have with our merino, with our Wool Babe label, versus the 100% cotton we use for the sleep store. The wool cotton blend is more durable because you have, like the Wool Babe fabric is 70% organic cotton and 30% merino. So you get quite a bit of the temperature regulating properties, but you don't get the real light, the extra light kind of feeling of the merino. It's looser woven, so that's kind of why the air goes through it a bit more. So the cotton blend gives you more durability. I think the merino gives you a lighter, more breathable, more temperature regulating fabric. And so you kind of, merino, you have to care for it well. You have to really follow the washing instructions. The Wool Babe fabric, if you occasionally wash it in normal fabric, normal liquid, it's not going to disintegrate, but if you do that repeatedly with merino, you will get holes in it really quickly and it will be ruined. So you got to weigh up the easy care and the more cotton feel versus the 100% merino. Our merino is incredibly soft and smooth. It's rated as extra fine merino, which means it's 18.5 microns, which means it's just a really silky smooth soft merino fiber. There's ratings of merino. The only thing that's a better quality than that is anything which is rated super fine, and a super fine merino is 17.5 microns. So it's only a tiny difference, but the difference in price is not worth it in terms of the benefits you as users would get. Unfortunately, the price of merino last year went up for us by 30%. So, we've tried to keep our prices pretty similar to last year. There's been a few small increases.
Another question just on that sort of thing while we love it. Is there a maximum temperature for merino? Hot temps, would you opt for cotton over merino, for example?
I wouldn't, personally. I mean, like in the weekend we were out tramping out at Riverhead Forest and it was blisteringly hot. It was, I think, 27 degrees. Most of my kids were still wearing merino t-shirts. I was still wearing merino t-shirt. I would never use a cotton t-shirt in that scenario of tramping in the summer because it would just get sweaty and gross and it's not actually any cooler to walk in. And the same at night. If you're using merino and it's hot, like, it's still quite warm now, you could use a little singlet suit or something that's short-sleeved with merino, and then it deals with that difference of hot and cold really well because it deals with the sweat and it deals with the temperature changes really well. So for me, even, for kids, I think using merino year-round is fine, and there's not really, until you get to the point where your kids are going to be just in a nappy, using a merino singlet is perfect right up until that like naked point. Great. So what we're going to do in terms of covering the range and showing you the styles is we're going to do newborn and then kind of 4 to 18 months baby size, and then we'll do the bigger kids kind of toddlers size, so you can kind of see which bits are relevant. And we might start with the inside layers first. Now we often get the question of should you use all merino, should you use cotton merino, how do you work out which garments to use, in particular if you're on a budget, and as much as you'd like to buy my entire range. I know that's not, you know, realistic unless you were the lucky winner of the 25 million. No, just kidding. But if you've got only a certain amount that you've got to buy merino with for your newborn, my recommendation is that you start with the humble bodysuit. So the merino bodysuit is, you know, the perfect layer against your baby's skin. You see all that stuff on the table all right? There? Or should I just hold it up? Yeah. So putting merino directly against your baby's skin is the best way to get the benefits of it. It will absorb any moisture, it'll absorb any nappy leaks, it'll deal with changes of temperature really well, but mostly for your little newborn when they can't control their temperature at all, that's what's going to help them most. And as we get into the cooler part of the year, whether you're, you know, in Auckland it doesn't get that cold, or whether you're in the deep south, or, you know, the Waikato, or wherever it gets much colder, that's where you'll get the most benefit, starting from the core of your baby's temperature, their chest, and then work your way out and put your money into that layer against the skin first of all. And so in our bodysuit starts, I think we have some grey ones left in prem size maybe, but the new range comes from a newborn, from a 4 zeros, which is this, and it just looks like a dolly size actually. I was like, oh, we made those very small. It's like across a tummy, it's a baby size. Anyway, so that's our forest green, which we did last year, which was super popular and is my favourite. And then this year we have cream back because it's a trusty long-term favourite, and then we have our grey marl and our navy. And we've actually been doing these two colours for 5 years. These were our first two merino colours. When me and James must have had a rush of blood to the head and thought we should start our own merino label. What were we thinking?
That's a good thought.
It was a good thought. Look at it now. So the bodysuits just come in those 4 colours. They're good trusty colours. They go with everything. We did have a question about what's the best colour, or how do you get poo out of merino? And here's my advice as a mother of 4. If you're worried about poo, don't buy this colour. Buy this colour. And then you won't be able to see it and you won't have to worry about it. But we will talk about caring for your merino later. But that's just my tip to share with you. Okay, so in terms of the bottom layer of merino, we do a singlet suit, which is this little one, or we do the long sleeve bodysuit. And then after that, depending on, you know, the room temperature and what kind of garments you like, you can either go for a zip suit, which we do in cotton and we do in merino, or you can do baby gown in cotton or merino. So our collection that we launched just at the end of last year, the colours all tie back with the merino. So this is our Elements range in organic cotton, and all the colours match beautifully, if I may say so myself. So you can buy some of our cotton and some of our merino, and it all looks really adorable together, and it's all beautiful, high quality fabric. And the garments are based on the same patterns, just tweaked slightly for the different fabric. Now I've got a little tie at the bottom, like so. So in terms of should you choose a merino layer or a cotton layer, it really depends. It's going to depend on your budget, it's going to depend on how cold your room is, you know, when your baby's due and what else you're using with it. But for me, you know, if you're heading into kind of an autumn or a winter newborn, personally I'd go for a merino bodysuit, and then I'd go for a merino zip suit. And then I would put a swaddle over the top of that. If your baby is due, you know, soon, or you've got a newborn, I'd probably go the merino, either the singlet suit, so dealing with that temperature regulation with your singlet suit, or your bodysuit, and then at this time of the year I'd just put a cotton layer over the top. So cotton zip suit, or where did I hide the nightie? Whoops, I trashed the display already. merino bodysuit and a cotton gown over the top. So, and then as it gets, you know, in terms of then what you put on top of that, if you're swaddling with one of our Sleep Store swaddles, this is the merino version, and this is our new colour, which is called Dandelion Dash.
So cute. I've got a
So
question actually on the swaddling.
Yeah.
Someone did ask what our thoughts were on using merino wrap to swaddle a newborn, and also someone else has also asked, do you recommend swaddling a newborn, and is swaddling necessary if you're putting baby into a nightgown sleep sack?
Yeah, well, the benefits of swaddling is it helps to control the startle reflex. So a nightie, like this one, it keeps your baby's legs warm, and it's obviously super hip friendly because it's not restraining the legs at all, but it doesn't stop the startle reflex of your baby's arms flapping all around. So the reason you swaddle is to give that kind of womb-like feeling and help the startle reflex to be controlled, because if you don't control it, every time your baby comes into a slightly light sleep or hears a slight noise, they go like this and wake themselves up and smack themselves in the face. And so that's a baby that, you know, might sleep for 15 or 20 minutes, whereas a swaddled baby could sleep for, you know, 1, 2, 3 hours for a newborn, or even longer, soon, you know, up to longer stretches. So this is our zip swaddle, which we developed about 18 months ago. So it's baby can get into a very natural, you know, flexed froggy type position. Their hands can move around anywhere within the swaddle, down by the side or up on their chest. And it's really stretchy, but it's got enough startle control that, you know, it will really help with sleep with a newborn. So you can see the arms and the legs have got loads of room. And you can also do a nighttime nappy change from the bottom, which helps them to stay in, you know, if you're feeding and changing the nappy, it'll help babies stay in a drowsier state while you change them. So that cute little swaddle comes in the stripes, and it comes in the Dandelion Dash, and I think it also comes in the Denim Dash in that colour. So yeah, so the swaddle comes in the merino for winter or for any time, and then it also comes in the organic cotton in all our star prints and plain colours too. And then also for swaddling, we have these swaddle blankets. I'll just quickly show you how those work. I might just put all of these back. We're getting lots of good entries, Amelia, for newborn goodies.
Newborns and the mystery boxes.
Woohoo!
People liking the Dandelion Dash.
When we chose the Dandelion Dash, I did have a little moment of thinking it was a bit too out there. We really love it. Look, there it is in the zip suit. How cute is your newborn going to look in that? Like, it's not lemon.
Yeah.
It's not a kind of traditional baby colour, but we think you'll love it, and it's super on trend.
You've got the photos back to them.
Yes,
Oh, the photos from our photographer. Oh my goodness, that's just so beautiful. Anyway,
while you're talking about the swaddle, Lou,
yeah.
I've got a swaddle question which you can,
I can
talk
answer
about as you're doing. I've got one of your merino nightgowns for my new baby,
Yeah.
due in a couple of months. Would you just recommend a bodysuit under this with socks, or should I be thinking something else? Waikato region, first winter baby.
First winter baby. I think there's so many factors, like how cold your house is, if you're going to have a heater on, if it's in the warm part of the house or the cold part of the house. I would start with the bodysuit. Like, if I think back to when my kids were little, I'd always, no matter what time of the year they were born, because I've got 2 October babies, a February baby and an April baby, I always did a merino bodysuit as the first layer. And then I'd do a gown. If you've got a merino gown, that is perfect. And then I would do a swaddle. And then you just really need to monitor whether your baby's warm enough. And the best way with the newborn is hand on their ears. You can do hand down on the chest, but if your hand is cold, that's going to wake them up and get more startle action. So I just would feel with your back of your hand on their ear or on their face, and if they feel a comfortable temperature, then you've got it just right. If they feel cold, then you can tuck a blanket over the top as well, or you could put another layer on inside the swaddle. So Yes, Merino swaddles are designed that we call them a swaddle blanket because they're perfect for tucking in on a bassinet or a Moses basket as a top layer. They're perfect for swaddling. They make a really nice just blanket for snuggling on the sofa when your kids are bigger, or you can use it as a cot blanket as well. So they're super multi-purpose. They're really generous size. And they're really nice to swaddle with actually because they're so stretchy. So that's your kind of options there. You know, and you don't have to swaddle with merino if you've got bodysuit and gown or bodysuit and a little zip suit, but it is a really nice option, particularly if it's cooler. Just have to show you the navy stripe zip suit again. That actually is my favourite from the whole collection this time. And then if you're not swaddling, this would be our recommendation as your layer over your nightie or your zip suit, would be a little newborn size sleeping bag. So this is the 0 to 6 month sleeping bag. It's got little snaps under the arm for the first couple of months, and then you can use that instead of blankets if you're not going to swaddle, and then it just means baby's super safe. You don't need anything loose in the bed.
Someone just asked Lou on Instagram if when you're breastfeeding in the middle of the night with a swallowed baby,
swallowed when you swallowed the baby. Oops.
With a swaddled baby who's swaddled in merino, would you take them out of the swaddle to breastfeed because of the body heat?
I wouldn't.
I personally wouldn't.
I wouldn't. You know, when your baby is little and they wake up, the first thing you think is they need feeding, so you feed them, and then you want them to go back to sleep. And I think one of the most tiring things when you have a new baby is it's not necessarily the getting up and feeding them, it's the time it takes them to get back to sleep, get them back to sleep, and then get yourself back to sleep. So if you keep your baby swaddled, do a quick feed, jiggle them, whatever, however you get them back to sleep. If you keep them swaddled, they're much more likely to settle. Get up quickly, respond quickly, feed them quickly, get them back to bed quickly. And babies are really sensitive to cold, which is why, you know, when you unswaddle them to change their nappy, often they start screaming, or when you take their clothes off and put them in the bath, they start screaming. So keep them swaddled if you can. You know, if you feel like they're too hot, then undo it, or, you know, undo the bottom or whatever. You just, you know, with anything, you just have to monitor your baby's temperature. But my advice always is don't unwrap them if you don't have to. Don't change their nappy unless they smell. Your newborn nappies should be good enough to go through, you know, a couple of feeds in the night, and then I would do what I call the sniff test while you're feeding them. Just give it a sniff, and if it's a poo, change it. But if it's just a wee, good quality nappies should be able to cope with a couple of wees through the night without needing, you know, to unwrap your baby and wake them up completely. Okay, so are there any other questions on the range for newborns?
I think you talked about the temperatures quite a bit at the beginning, so I think we're pretty good around.
Yeah, so we just have a little recap on what the newborn styles are. There's the zip swaddle, there's the little zip suit, there's the long sleeve bodysuits, there was the singlet suit on that one, and then there's the little nightie. Whoops. Nighties are the best. They're so much easier for nappy changes than something with legs. There's the little gown, and then here's the swaddle blankets, and then here's our merino fleece blankets too, which come in bassinet and cot size.
Someone wants to just see the singlet suit up close, please. Should I
just whip it out of here. And our lovely production manager, Amanda, is currently still on maternity leave. If you're watching, Amanda, please hurry back. We miss you every day. Amanda used to be the one of the production managers at Trelise Cooper, and she is a total perfectionist, and so there's probably been like 15 different samples of this singlet suit to get it to fit exactly right. And since she's just had her second baby, I'm sure she's going to come back with a gazillion good ideas of how to make it even better. But you can see the fit is really beautiful. The other thing that will show you is all our bodysuits have, can you see that? Anita, can you see that, or zoom in a bit? That baby's really heavy. I should have given you one that wasn't on a baby. Here, take one of these ones. I was just going to show you the snaps. So all our bodysuits have colour coordinated tape. They have cotton tape, and the snaps are punched into the tape so that you won't rip holes in the merino, because my bodysuits, when I had babies, they always used to get runs up here because the snaps had been punched straight into the merino, which breaks the fibres and then it ladders. And so when you buy our bodysuits, the snaps are designed to stay on there, and they're designed to not damage the merino. So it's rated extra fine, 18.5 microns. So that's how fine the fibres are. And as a comparison, your hair, I read today, is 88 microns. And merino fibre is 18.5 microns. So it's massively finer than your own hair. So that's just a little bit of tidbit for you. But in terms of the GSM, our rib is 220 GSM. So it's quite a weighty thickness compared to a lot of, like if you go looking at chain store merino, some of it's probably really thin, like 160 or 180 is really common. So this is 220, so that's the bodysuits, nighties and blankets. And our pyjamas, when we get into the big kids' pyjamas, are 220 grams. All of the jacquard, which is the dash knit and the stripe, these are 200 gram. The stripe feels a little bit thicker because it's what's called double faced, so it's kind of two thicknesses knitted together. But yeah, these are 200. And then the fleece, which is what our onesies are, these are 280 grams. So these are the same sort of thickness as something like a really thick polar fleece, but this is not made of plastic milk bottles. This is made of sheep, 100% merino sheep.
Awesome. And are all merino 100% equal? 100% merino, are they all equal, like quality?
No, they're very definitely not. Our merino is of course far superior to everybody else's merino, which you knew that or you wouldn't be tuning in. I jest, but our merino is very high quality. Yes, you can get much cheaper merino if you go to one of the kind of budget chain stores. You'd probably find your merino half the price of ours. But the things that make a difference, one would be the fit and the care that's gone into all the finishing details, like the things like the tape and the quality of the snaps, and that we only use, YKK components, the best components. The microns, the 18.5 microns is very expensive compared to something like a 20 or 22 micron. So every kind of number that you go down, it's much more expensive because it's so much finer and lighter and softer. And then you've kind of got the durability and how it wears. And every year we've done our merino, we've heard how our merino lasts so much better than merino that people buy in chain stores. So you are buying, that's what you're paying for really, that it will, if you look after it, it will last, and it's so soft and smooth and well made. The factory that makes our merino in China is a specialist merino factory, so they don't work with any other garments. Like they refused even to make our bags, which had to be sent from elsewhere because we had very special requirements, and we didn't want our bags, our beautiful merino, to be packed in plastic. So they're a specialist, high quality, expert merino factory. They really focus on research and development and really refining the quality and developing new fabrics over time. So that's why we choose to work with them. So again, you're dealing with experts rather than, there's a lot of, we get emails every day from, would you like us to make your merino? And we're like, no, thank you. We have experts making it. And I do also have to give a shout out to Ali from Babu, who does it, helps us with our production as well, particularly this year while Amanda is away. And also when we've, all the years we've been making merino, Ali has been our partner in making that happen. So buy our Sleep Store merino or buy Ali's Babu merino. She's got some exquisite fashion colours this year that we haven't got. We're very classic. She's got the beautiful rust and the, tui green and cinnamon and all those colours. So we've got her range as well. You'll see it on our website, and particularly when we launch our new website, and they do go really nicely together as well. So in terms of the garments that are the same, obviously the bodysuits go for bigger babies as well. So the singlet suit in both colours goes up to, I think, size 1. I think maybe size 1 or 2. Remember? The bodysuit, some of the colours go to size 3. We had a lot of comments last year that people wanted size 3, so some of the colours go to size 3. Then we introduced the little singlet. So cute. And then our zip suits go up to size 4. So again, at this stage, the cotton, I only made the cotton ones up to size 1, and everybody shouted they wanted bigger. So I've got these coming up to size 4, and then the merino ones go up to size 4. And that's the 2 colours of dash and 2 colours of stripe. So they're all available up to size 4. So these start from 000 up to size 4. And then bringing back a size 6 to 12 months in our mini fleece onesie. Last year we didn't make 6 to 12 months, and I had so many people asking me why not. So this year we did. Maybe you could hold this up closer so people can see the inside. So this is our merino fleece that's been developed specifically for us. This is exclusive fabric to the Sleep Store. I challenge you to find anything cozier than that in all of Australasia. So it's the idea that kids really like cozy, warm suits. They love the feeling of things like plush and, the sort of fabric like a jelly cat's made of. We wanted to make something that felt soft like that kids would love against their skin, but that was 100% natural, breathable, temperature regulating fabric. And this is what Ali helped us develop a number of years ago, and it's one of our best-selling garments of sleepwear. And so this starts this year from 6 to 12, and these go up now to size 12. So those are our kind of all-in-ones. And then also from size 1 is our 2-piece pajamas. So little long sleeve top and little skinny fit pants with cuffs. And the beauty of these, and really any of these with little kids, you could wear these for day wear as well. Definitely for babies, would wear these day and night. But the thing with these pajamas is that they're definitely not just for night wear. The top you can easily wear as just a long sleeve top, or wear it as a bottom layer and chuck a t-shirt over the top. Saves getting your kids dressed. My 9-year-old actually quite often goes to bed in his clothes, and then just gets up and goes to school in his clothes. It saves a lot of time in the morning. He's very independent now. Who needs to help him get dressed into pajamas? And that's the pants. And so, you could wear those as little leggings, or because they're slim fit, you could put track pants or a skirt or something over the top. But they were designed as a 2-piece pajama. And they come in 3 colours. They come in the forest and the grey. So that's all our kind of middle layers. So we go bodysuit, and then we go either pajamas or a zip suit or a onesie, and then the sleeping bags on the top. And again, we've got the 4 colours of pajamas. Oh, just a cup of coffee. So our sleeping bags come in the grey stripe, the navy stripe, the denim and the dandelion. And the way that the layering with our merino works is that you can just keep adding as many layers as you need for your kids to be really cozy. So at this time of the year, it's probably still, unless you live somewhere cooler, it's probably still too warm for one of our merino bags, but it will be time any minute now for these. So our cotton, organic cotton, is available in our summer bags, a 1 and 2 layer cotton bag, and then you can really just layer up bodysuit. Let's do a little combo: bodysuit, zip suit, sleeping bag. And that would be good for probably sort of 18 to 20 degrees, or even down a little bit cooler. And then if it was really cold, you could add one of these extra little tops like that. Or if it was really cold, you could swap out this layer for this layer. So then you've got bodysuit, fleece onesie and sleeping bag. So that's the way the merino's designed to work. You can just add or take away. You don't always need to have like multiple whole complete sets of things for different seasons. You can just add or take away depending on, you know, what day it is, how cold it is, you know, what time of the year it is.
We've got a question around, it's come up a little bit, around eczema. And with eczema, would you recommend having cotton as the first layer or merino? What would you go with for that?
It really depends on how bad the eczema is. Because it's an extra fine merino, it's not like, you know, the old school kind of wool jerseys or prickly kind of wool that really would irritate eczema. So it's probably worth, unless the eczema is really bad, it would be worth trying a bodysuit and seeing, you know, if your child is okay with it. If the eczema is bad, then definitely use some of our 100% organic, it's 95% organic cotton, 5% elastane. You know, use a cotton layer against the skin and then put your merino on the outside of that. And then it'll still be really helpful for temperature regulation. It'll still be cozy and it'll still be super safe, but you have the cotton against the skin. So I can't really give you a definitive yes or no can you use it, because it just depends so much. But the other option for kids with eczema is our Wool Babe fabric, because that is 70% cotton, 30% merino. That's a really good option for against the skin. And we do a similar little suit like this in the Wool Babe fabric. So that would be a really good alternative, and you'll get some of the merino, but it won't feel at all woolly. It'll just feel like cotton.
Someone's also wanting to know, while we're just talking a little bit about layering, that they'd like to know when to choose merino over cotton, and can you mix? Can you put merino and cotton?
Yeah, you absolutely can mix. I mean, you're not going to, it would be a rare customer who would come and order, you know, an entire range of all merino. Most people have got a bit of this and a bit of that, and what's clean and how cold is it, and you know, what's nearby, what can you find, and so on. So it's absolutely fine to mix and match. It's fine to you know, mix and match different sorts of merino. I'd try, if you're buying merino, try and buy good quality stuff, because otherwise, you know, it won't even last one season, let alone subsequent kids, or sell it later. But in terms of whether you choose, you know, your cotton zip suit inside your sleeping bag, or a merino zip suit inside a sleeping bag, it just probably depends on how cold it is. The merino's always going to be warmer, just because of the nature of that, it's wool versus cotton. So, you know, if it's cold, try to add more layers of merino. If it's cooler, I'd still go for merino against the skin, and then maybe you go cotton, and then you go a sleeping bag or a wool blanket, depending on, you know, what you've got and how cold it is. But the colder it gets, the more merino layers that you'll find beneficial. Does that help with that?
Yes.
Good, okay. Oh, there's some more of our sweet little pajamas. I just love them, they're so cute. Amanda did a really good makeover of those last year and just really got the fit so much better than what I had managed.
Someone's asked if we sell duvet weight sleeping bags.
Yes.
So that is...
So we'll just have a little look at our sleeping bag. So this sleeping bag here is a total of 370 grams of merino. So it's a extra fine layer of 170 grams of the lining, and all of the colours have grey on the inside, and then 200 grams on the outside. So one of the main differences with this bag you'll see is just how soft it is. So it's the same softness as our swaddles, really. It's really soft and stretchy. If you know our Wool Babe bags, this is very similar in feel to our 3 Seasons Wool Babe. In that it's very stretchy. It's even stretchier than a 3 Seasons Wool Babe, because that's just the nature of merino. Knitted merino is very soft and stretchy. And then if you compare, here's one we prepared earlier from last week's live. So this is a duvet Wool Babe, and you can see it's ginormous. It's like my size. It's like a toddler size.
It's a toddler size, sorry.
Huge, that's all right. And you'll see that this is quite stiff, because this is called a duvet Wool Babe, so this is constructed like a duvet. In fact, when we started selling wool duvets, I said to the factory who makes the Wool Babes, I said, can you please just make duvets that are like a Wool Babe? And they did. That's how we came to be selling wool duvets, which we'll talk about in another live. So, so this is more like wearing your duvet, whereas the merino bag is more like wearing a blanket or a swaddle. So that's really how you can see this is stiff and quilted. Get that baby out of the way. Down there, baby. So this is stiff and duvet-like. This is soft and blankety. They're both really warm. This is warmer. This is like a mid-weight bag, which makes it very, very versatile. And then the 3 Seasons Wool Babe, and then our cotton bags are cooler. So in terms of which one to choose, partly it depends which you like the construction of, and partly it depends how much clothing you're going to put with it and how cold your house gets. So this one's going to be warmer because the amount of merino in it, this has got merino inside all the quilting. That's more like 500 gram weight of merino inside here, in addition to this outer layer. But if you have this weight of winter bag and you use something like this with it, then that's going to be equally cozy. So it really just depends if you want how many bags you're going to have, how cold your house is, how many layers you're going to put with them. And some people just really like the way that this is so cozy, and the nature of it being 100% merino means it's very versatile and you can just layer up the clothes. So in terms of what room temperatures you could use this for, it's very similar, but you're just going to need another layer probably with this at the lowest temperatures. Yes, does that answer your question? I hope whoever was asking that about the sleeping bags. And then just a bit more about the sleeping bag. So they're all 2 layer. So with the zips, you close it at the top, zip it down, and if you need to do a nappy change in the night, you just do your nappy change up there. Relax. They don't have a travel slot, they're just straight like that, and they all have the little snaps under the arms. So this is a 3 to 24 month, so probably 3 to 6 months you would use the snaps, and then once your baby's about 6 months old you don't need that anymore. Like so. Our bags go up to size 2 to 4 years, But you'll probably find actually that a 5 or 6-year-old can still fit in those. You can see compared to, like, if this is my shoulder here, that goes down to my mid-calf. So yeah, for kids that sleep well in a sleeping bag, carry on using a sleeping bag. Yeah, so these are the toddler size. So if we just compare our sleeping bag size, actually I'll do them in different colours, that will make it easier. So that's the 3 sizes that our merino bags come in: 0 to 6, 3 to 24, and 2 to 4. And then the fleece onesies. So in the big kids, I think it's from size 5 upwards, is what we call our pocket onesie. So the little ones, which is up to size 4, has a double-ended zip like this and no pockets. And then in the big kids, they have these adorable little pockets, and the zip just comes down halfway. So feedback from customers was that up till sort of size 4, they wanted to still be able to do a nappy change with the suit. With these, you need to whip it off. Boys can use the double-ended zip. I do have 4 boys, sorry, so this was designed it's perfect for boys. They can pee out the front with the double-ended zip. Girls, or if you not peeing, then you obviously have to just whip off the whole top of the suit. It's not really yeah, that's just how it's designed. So that's the size 10 there, and so we do one size bigger than that. You can see that's quite ginormous, almost big enough. I'm going to try the size 12. All the staff, every year we get adults asking for them, but seriously, the amount of merino will cost like $300 already. That's about like what we're paying for those is like not much less than what you're paying. But anyway, what else about the big kids? Oh, the pajamas. So we've also got our 2-piece pajamas, go up to size 8, I think, and then singlets. And yeah, the pajamas just come in those 3 colours.
Someone said that they're surprised that you only needed a quick drink of water and not a full-on snack. Great presenting stamina.
We did whip out for a kebab. I was starting to eat like multiple bags of the little lollies that we put in with the orders. I realised I was reaching for my 3rd bag of lollies and my 2nd cup of tea, so we had to rush out for a kebab. So that's the big kids. So really, yeah, the big kid stuff. My kids, my youngest 9, my next one's 11, they still love the merino. And yeah, anytime we go anywhere into the wilderness, everybody is like multiple layers of merino. We do stock icebreaker up to kids size 14. So if you want more kind of outdoorsy merino, like leggings, tops, the thicker zip tops, hats, really good socks, icebreaker is awesome. It's my favourite brand for me. Just on that question, we do get asked why we don't put feet in our garments. So like this and this. And one of the things when we design garments at the Sleep Store is we're thinking about it as parents and how we don't really like buying things that don't last. And we like to get multiple seasons out of garments when we invest in them. So, that's why we make our sleeping bags really roomy, so you'll get 2 years of use out of them. When we made this garment, we made it quite roomy, and then last year we made the cuffs even longer. So when you first buy it, you can use it with the cuffs turned up like this, and then the second year you use it, you can stretch it out so that you'll get even like the size 1, 2, 3, but you'll probably get more than 1 year. Like if I think about my kids at home, Eddie, who's 9, he could wear a onesie in an 8 or a 10, and it would fit him fine, and it wouldn't matter. One would be lower in the crutch, one would be kind of with the cuffs long like that. And then the same with these, because they're quite slim fitting, you can just scrunch them up. You can just fold over the cuffs. And the reason we don't put feet in them is that feet, there's two things. Feet in suits mean they only fit your child when they're exactly the right size. If your kid's got big feet, then their toes are going to go through the end. If your kid's little, it's going to be a tripping hazard because they're not going to be able to walk around in it without tripping over the feet. So you'll get much more longevity and there's less to wear out if they don't have socks. So that's why we've got that. We do sell 2 brands of Merino socks.
The benefits Merino on older children, because obviously we're talking about newborn,
Yeah.
great at regulating your own temperature.
Yeah.
What are the benefits to continue using it when the kids are older?
Yeah, I think really it's the same things about that it's breathable, it's light, it's soft, and that moisture way that Merino deals with moisture, that it can absorb 30% of moisture and that it covers variances in temperature. So, you know, if it's cool, if it's warmer in the evening and cooler in the middle of the night, some kind of merino layer will help kind of smooth that out for your child. And it's just cozy, you know, like you put merino on and it feels warm and cozy. Everybody likes that in the winter. Yeah. And also I think when you buy merino garments for your kids, I know like my kids also use a lot of icebreaker. They use it at night when it's cold. They use it when we go camping in the summer. They use it for school camps. They use it for tramping in the winter, in the summer, whatever. It's very versatile. So I would just think if you're investing in merino for older kids, I wouldn't think about it just as for bedtime. I'd think about it as a garment that you can use it for lots of different things. And something like a onesie, you know, buy it big enough for 2 years. You'll use it if you go camping in the summer. These are great in a tent, you know, even in the warmer months, and then they'll use it for bedtime or for lounging in the weekend. Sometimes I can't get my kids out of them actually. Sometimes with Eddie it's actually a bit of a mission to get him out of it to go to school, even at 9. But yeah, so no, it's good. It's really beneficial for all ages, you know, kids and adults.
Great. And so some lovely feedback that's come through from someone saying that they love that you think about us as parents and what works for us and often our tight budgets rather than solely focused on profit. That's exactly why I keep coming back and supporting your business with my purchases.
Oh, thank you.
All the feels.
All the feels. Oh, God, but funny. We get a bit teary. I love feedback like that. Yeah, no, we're always thinking of you guys and we're always thinking of, you know, what else you might like.
Right.
Dandelion is proving a bit of a hit, James. We picked a goodie. Yeah, picking the colours is such a mission because we get the trend forecast from this wonderful woman in England who forecasts out 4 seasons ahead of time, and then we have to like go through and go, what colour actually would that look like? And then with merino, you have to send off the Pantone number, you send it to the factory, it takes months of coming back, and I think we got like 10 shades of this, and some of them were really ugly, and then we're like, oh my goodness, it's really bright, can we actually buy like 800 garments of fluoro yellow? No, it's not fluoro, but it's quite a mission, it's quite nerve-wracking, so we're absolutely thrilled that you like it.
One lady said that she thinks she's a big kid and she wants to know what the max height for the size 12 fleece onesie is because she thinks she can fit into it and she can't find on the site. So I will get back to you on that.
Yeah, well this one is size 10 and it says height 140 centimetres. And that's the average that it fits. And so what we'll do tomorrow is we'll get the 12, I'll look it up on the spec and we'll get that measurement. That's called the high point shoulder to the cuff. So we'll measure that for you and then we'll measure the crotch to the leg and we'll see if it fits you. Not if I squeeze into it first. Actually, my sister's only about this height. I reckon little Net could get it. She could be the size 12 model. Hi Net, you're probably not watching, you're probably putting your kids to bed. Okay, so that's big kids. So let's just have a quick chat about caring for your merino. So all your merino garments this year, the new collection, we do still have a little bit left from last year, but I did sell it really cheap. So you probably tell us if you got some of the clearance merino. It's pretty much the same. I just fancied selling all of last year, so it was all fresh for this year. So we did do that pretty cheap. But anyway, so the new packaging in these adorable little bags. If you had our merino last year, the gauze wasn't thin enough, and the customer service team nearly killed us because it was really impossible to read the labels, and they cursed us quite loud. And then one of our baby carrier brands had packaging like this that was tulle. We're like, ooh, you can see what colour it is and you can read the label through it. And then that was quite a mission to make that. Ali, thank you for finding the tulle bags. They were made specially. They've got sleep store tag. But anyway, so then James designed these beautiful cards that go inside, and the back of that has all your care information. So all of the merino garments have washing instructions, but there's more detailed here. So, it's designed with a thing so you can actually like pin it up in your laundry, pin it up somewhere, keep it, because that's all your good stuff there. So merino is not like cotton. You do have to wash it really carefully according to the instructions. I mean, we are busy humans, and we buy good quality merino so that it lasts, but you do still have to look after it. The things to be wary for is do not use anything like nappy sand or bleach or laundry powder, anything that's like white. Don't put it anywhere near your merino because it will eat holes in it. That's not an exaggeration. We do see it all the time. We've even had returns of merino that have big bleach marks on them, and people say, I definitely didn't soak it. It's like, well, it didn't bleach itself, but bleach, nappy sand, any of those sort of products should not be anywhere near your merino. You want to use a good quality liquid wool wash, which is different to like, a fabric softener or a delicate laundry detergent. It's got to be a wool wash. I use Eco Store, or I use the eucalyptus, I'm not going to remember what it's called. It's a eucalyptus one in a kind of brown bottle, but it's got to be a wool wash. The Eco Store one is really nice because it's unscented. I personally can't stand my clothes smelling like laundry powderish. It makes me sneeze. So go for the unscented or a really light eucalyptus one is nice. If you get stains on your merino, still do not soak them in nappy sand. Just soaking them in water sometimes will get a stain out because it'll just loosen the dirt or whatever it is. And obviously washing your merino, if you get a mark, if you spill something on it, wash it there and then. Go and soak it and, just gently zhuzh it around in some warm water. You might get it out just with that. Whereas if you leave it and then try and scrub it out later, that's going to be much harder. I like trusty old Sard Wonder Soap, which you can buy at the supermarket if you're lucky, or even just like an Eco Store cake of soap, something like that, or even a little bit of hand soap, something that's gentle enough to use on your skin that you might wash your hands with. Something like that is going to be much more gentle than something like nappy sand. The other thing you can try is for stains is a paste made of baking soda and water. Go a bit old school, gently massage that in and then soak it and then wash it. And also the best thing for stains is sunshine. So give it a wash as best you can and then hang it on the line, and that sunshine will often get stuff out. That's with wool babes. That's our number one tip for getting marks out of wool babes, is just leave it out in the sun for a bit. But do be mindful with this colour of merino. If you leave this out in the sun, cream merino is a bit notorious for getting sun damaged. You'll get like sunspots on it. So in terms of drying your merino, don't tumble dry it, you will shrink it. It is wool after all. I dry all my merino pretty much on an airing rack inside. We just have one by a window, and then when it's really sunny, just move it around. And so I like to dry it flat or on an airing rack. You can obviously hang it on the clothesline, but you do just need to be careful about how you peg it, because merino is reasonably delicate, and so if you like fold over the shoulders on a suit and then stick some crappy old plastic pegs on it, you could make holes in it by doing that. So if you're pegging it, peg it carefully by the cuffs, so that you're not putting it like into actually within the garment. And what else? The other thing that we get real problems with people returning their merino or emailing us photos saying your merino's poor quality, it's got holes in it. It's actually not our merino, it's actually bugs. And so the thing that causes the most holes in merino, way more holes in merino than laundry powder problems, is bugs. And the bugs that you need to be wary of are moths and silverfish. And so if you've got moths in your house, I always have them in my pantry, always have moth traps. If you're prone to moths or silverfish, you do need to deal with it, otherwise they are going to eat holes in your merino. So every year, at this time of the year, we get people who have put their merino away for the summer, and then they get it out and they say, oh, this merino's poor quality because look at all these holes in it. And it's not our fault that you've got bugs in your house that eat holes in your merino. So
they look like.
Amelia's showing you some holes, pictures, and we'll post, it's hard to see there, but we'll post some photos so you can see what the moth holes look like. They make like a round hole, which then turns into a ladder. And so one recommendation is that if you're storing your merino, or even if you've got it wherever you've got it in the drawers or in your wardrobe, they hate lavender. So put a few sprigs of lavender, or if you've got a little lavender sachet, that's toxic to moths and silverfish, and they will stay away, and hopefully your merino won't get holes in it. Or the other thing too, just is if you're hand washing merino, it's all designed that you can gentle machine wash it. So you want to do a gentle cycle, or you want to do a wool cycle. But if you are hand washing it, one of the things that can be not good for merino is if you hand wash it and then you go like this, give it a real, hand wringing is way harder on fabric than, than a gentle spin in your cycle. So just be wary of that.
Pilling.
Oh, pilling. Always a good one. Okay, so what do we know about pilling? So the first thing is that our merino we try to keep it as natural as possible. So it hasn't been treated with any chemicals or anti-pilling agents or any of the things that a lot of really super processed fabric has in it. So you likely will get a little bit of pilling because it's wool, and wool can pill. Merino is less prone to pilling than just the regular kind of lamb's wool or something. The really sort of soft, fluffy wool is really bad for pilling. So our, the quality of the merino we use means it's less prone to pilling, but you will still possibly get some. And the thing that causes pilling is fabrics rubbing against each other. And so, like last year I bought myself splashed out on this beautiful icebreaker jumper, and the first time I wore it, it pilled right down both sides. And that was because I was walking along and this side was, it's the abrasion. And so if you wear wool garments, down the side where your arm rubs, that's where it ruined it, down both sides. It's like nice for home now. So in terms of pilling with garments like this, if you've got a really wriggly child and they wriggle all around in bed all night, that's abrasion from the merino against the sheet. It's not necessarily that, it's not that the merino is faulty, it's just that rubbing. The more your child rubs, the more active they are in their merino, the more likely you are to get some pilling. So, if you've got something like this inside a suit where they're wriggling all around, you might get some rubbing on here where that's happening. It's normal, it's a natural fibre, and that's just one of the things that can happen with really soft, beautiful wool. You might get a little bit on here, particularly if your kids, again, if they're active, if they're rolling around in bed, if you've got duvet on top, sheets on the bottom. And this is particularly soft, fluffy kind of wool. So in terms of what can you do about pilling, first you can I think the key thing is just knowing what causes it. It's the abrasion of the fabric rubbing against another fabric. It's the loose, short it's the shorter kind of fibres of the merino coming to the surface. And so our customer service team's recommendation, based on lots of research, is that within about the first 3 wears of a merino garment, follow the washing instructions really carefully and wash your merino the first couple of times with something like denim, something heavier and that's a bit coarser, and that will help the short fibres come out of the merino. If you are using denim, make sure you zip up, so there's not like zipper teeth ripping your new merino. That wouldn't be very good. If you do end up with bobbles on your merino, if it's just for bed, does it matter? Personally, I wouldn't worry about it. If it's just a suit for bed and it's warm and cozy, does it matter if it's got a few bobbles on it? Probably not. But if you like it to remain looking pristine, if it's just a few small number of bobbles, you can just carefully pick them off, because they are just the loose fibres that have bunched up on the outside of the fabric. You can use a really fine comb. And there's particular little combs that you can get, like a cashmere comb or just a really fine, hair comb. And just gently make sure you're not pulling out more fibres. You do have to be very careful. You can use a razor blade, mind yourself. Not a razor like a double razor, like leg shaving razor, like a blade. Or you can actually buy a little battery operated that you go over and deal with the pilling. So yeah, you can deal with it, or you can just go, it's a natural fibre, it doesn't really matter. I leave that to you to decide.
There's a few questions about storing your merino, making your merino last longer, if you've got any tips on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think if you're storing it from season to season or for subsequent kids, I think the first thing is you need to make sure that it's really clean and super dry before you put it away. You need to look at that tip about the lavender, some kind of sachet of lavender. You can buy them, to give to grannies to put in their undie drawers or wherever people put those lavender sachets, but now we know. I think just dry lavender, and we'll do a little bit more research for you. I've heard people say not in plastic, but then, all of us use those plastic boxes for like clothes to hand them down to other kids. I think I wouldn't be putting them like in plastic bags, because they could get sweaty. If you've got nice wooden storage boxes or whatever, they'd probably be good. But I think the main thing is just make sure it's clean and dry, and use the lavender, and you should be fine. And if you've got bugs like silverfish or moths, that is going to be the biggest challenge. So you need to get rid of those, or you need to make sure that it's sealed in something that the bugs can't get into. Moth traps, I have them in my pantry at all times. I don't know where those moths come from. They're like, you buy them in a pack in the supermarket, and they're that kind of shape, and they're sticky, and then the moths fly in and they just stick to it. It's really disgusting. But put one of those in your cupboard, like in the wardrobe, or in the chest of drawers or something. And that is all the tips I have to share about caring for your merino.
Yes.
On your
I
couch.
put a link to it as well.
Good.
An article on our website, and I will repost it at the end of the live at the top of the comments as well.
And we do hope you like the new packaging and the care tips cards that you can pin up. I thank you, James, for the artwork. Very beautiful. And see, like, they've even got little pictures, and it's all colour coded, and because our customer service team, we had to just like make up for last year.
We want to make sure we give you the right, when you order your merino, you get the right colour on the right size.
Yeah, we like to send you the right thing, so that's part of why that looks so cool. So you can see here, like on this one, you can see the little yellow, but you can actually see through it, so it's like super yellow. And we also can't wait to hear what you use the little bags for. We love making things that are good for the environment as well as good for you. And so we thought these were perfect for, particularly for veggie bags, actually, for produce. I even use stuff like this when I go to the bulk bins. I put all the pretzels, or you can put nuts, anything like that, probably even seeds. It's quite fine. You could even do your sunflower seeds or something in one of those.
And you talk about the care as well, with the lavender, the dried lavender.
You could put your lavender in. Dry your own lavender. Don't buy like a granny sachet.
There's a recipe in the article.
like that.
Someone does want to know if they should just quickly wash it inside out, or does it not matter?
Yes, that actually is another good tip, to wash it inside out. Thank you. What time is it? It feels like my bedtime.
9:15.
Oh my goodness, it's all of our bedtime. So if you've got any last Q&A, I think Amelia's got a couple more.
Someone has asked we'll make them quick fire questions.
Quick fire, no
How
pressure
much?
to answer on the spot. Whew.
How much will the merino sleeping bag stretch over time?
They will stretch a little bit, but the nature of merino is it's little curly fibres and they ping back, so it will only stretch a little bit, will be the answer that I'll say. Like, I've got pairs of these pyjamas that 2 of my kids have used, and they just keep their shape really well. So I'm going to say it will stretch only a little bit over time.
Great. And what are your top 5 merino items you'd recommend owning for those on a budget?
Okay, so for those on a budget, I would always start with the bodysuit. Depending on the age of your child, are we talking about a newborn, like getting ready for a baby, or what are we talking about? That's like a really hard question. I would say, if it was me, if I was having a baby soon and I had only a little limited amount, I would, for a newborn baby, I would go 2 bodysuits, 2 gowns, and a blanket. If I was going bigger kids, I would go a sleeping bag, and I would go 2 zip suits and 2 bodysuits. And I think if you are on a budget with merino, don't forget to watch out for our specials. Keep popping, if you're in Auckland, pop into the outlet store. Yeah, and we always have odds and ends. So if there's something that you really want and you can't get it, just go on the waiting list for the outlet store.
Great.
Like that.
We've answered that question. How often, if they have a wool babe sleeping bag, how often would you recommend washing it?
Oh, I practically wouldn't wash it if it was me. They don't. That's one of the best things about merino, the wool babes and any of this, is you just have to wash it not very often. It is really odor resistant. I forgot to mention that as a feature. You see that with grown up. You can go tramping for 4 days with 2 sets of merino for day and night for 4 days, and you barely smell at the end of it, which I'll be testing out next month when I go for a 4-day tramp with 2 outfits. But seriously, with washing a wool babe, wash it when it smells. Air it out every day. Wash it when it smells, or it's had something gross leak in it. I used to wash mine once a month, seriously, and that was all.
Someone has asked just now, what's Lou's absolute favourite item from all the merino?
Oh, the precious juice. I don't know. Oh my goodness. I think that it might be from everything this year. I think it's this. So I just love the navy and white. When we got the first sample this year in the navy and white, it was this, and we squealed with excitement when we saw it because it came out with its beautiful little navy zip. But then I have a real love for the fitted swaddle because it took us so many months of getting the design. Where's the yellow one? Oh! Like, it kind of, there's a lot of talk about whether you should swaddle, whether you shouldn't swaddle. This swaddle answers every question people have about swaddling. Like, it's hip healthy, babies have hand movement, it's temperature regulating, it contains the startle, all of that in a merino swaddle, and it's this colour. This is my favourite. Good question.
Hang on.
Anyway, last Q&A.
Okay, last Q&A. A layering question. Baby's waking up cold in the merino wool babe duvet around 3 a.m. and he's wearing a wonder suit, approximately 19 degrees at the time.
Yeah.
What to wear? Do we add another layer?
So it's in a duvet wool babe.
With a wonder suit.
Yeah, wonder suit is really thin and it's polyester cotton. So some of the wonder suits have actually got a really high percentage of polyester. We don't stock those ones, but we only do the 5% lycra ones. But some of them are up to about 40% nylon polyester. So do you really need to watch that with bonds? They're adding more and more synthetics. But if your baby's cold at 19 degrees in a duvet wool babe, I don't know how old your baby is, but I would go for one of these. One of those, and then, you know, once you get down to kind of a bit colder, you know, 18, 17, one of those, or even do both of those. If at 19 with a duvet wool baby's cold, they probably, you know, feel the cold a bit more. So just 1 or 2 layers of merino, ditch the wondersuit. Any last requests, or is it home time?
I think it's home time. I think that's kind of. If there's anything that we hope we get answered everyone's questions that was submitted in advance, but if there's anything you think we've missed, send us a private message if you feel like we didn't answer it, or we'll try to get back to the ones we don't think we answered in the comments tomorrow.
Like that. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you love everything. We look forward to seeing all your photos of your babies looking gorgeous and cozy, or your big kids. And thanks to Amelia and James for all the technical support and preparation for today and all the good questions in advance. And I bid you good night.